Grab out the sweatpants and stop shaving. It's official. New Zealand is in alert level 4 lockdown. After several months of enjoying relative freedom and no community cases, what happened? And what is a lockdown really like in New Zealand? Welcome back to another episode of Matt and Nat Travel That, the travel couple that seems to have really bad timing when it comes to travel plans. That's right, over a year and a half ago we travelled to Bali and had to cut our trip short because New Zealand went into full lockdown just as we arrived in Bali. We have a full video on the experiences that I will link up here and in the description below. And then before we were set for our honeymoon adventure, New Zealand went into a mini lockdown about a week before we were set to head off. And we narrowly avoided it by just about a week. And then we were all set for a long weekend trip over to Nelson to stay in a beautiful accommodation and plan many things. And then on the 17th of August, we went into alert level 4 lockdown. So what happened? New Zealand has been enjoying a pretty much back to normal life for almost a year now. We were the envy of most countries all around the world with our success in the COVID-19 situation and our relative freedoms. Well, on the 17th of August, there was one recorded positive case in the wider community of the Delta variant, and the government imposed an alert level 4 nationwide lockdown at 11:59 p.m. that night.
As I said, we are assuming that we have a case of Delta that we are dealing with. As it is, we are one of the last countries in the world to have the Delta variant in our community. It means we need to again go hard and early to stop the spread. We only get one chance. That's why Cabinet has met this afternoon and made the decision that New Zealand will move to alert level 4 from 11:59 p.m. tonight. That
one case has now turned into 511 as of the 30th of August, which is today, leaving 34 people in hospital and 2 in intensive care. The lockdown was originally for 3 days, then that was extended to a week, and now we're sitting at day 13. So, what is an alert level 4 lockdown? Level 4 means no travelling between regions. It means no going to restaurants, and it also means only essential services are allowed to operate. Now, essential services are basically what it means. Day-to-day essential living. So that means supermarkets, petrol stations, hospitals, police, and that's basically about it. There are a few exceptions though. For example, the wine and liquor industry is still allowed to operate because they tend to supply to supermarkets, and we have a lot of people who like to drink. Now, you're only allowed to go to work if you are an essential worker, but you have to wear a mask if you are working in an essential workplace. So basically, you're only allowed to leave the home if you want to go to the supermarket, if you need to get petrol, and if you need a vaccination. Public transport is available but only for essential workers, but it is mandatory to wear a mask. You are allowed to go out and take a walk and exercise, get a bit of fresh air, but you have to avoid people by a minimum of 2 meters, and it is encouraged to wear your mask, but that isn't mandatory. An interesting difference on this lockdown compared to last year's level 4 lockdown is the amount of police presence that there are in the communities. I've personally noticed a lot more police driving around, and there's been cases in the news of people being arrested and getting fines and even given formal warnings for people who break those rules, where that wasn't the case in last year's lockdown. Also, companies that are essential services are giving their employees letters of exemption, so you can carry that around with you if you ever get stopped by the police, and it just states basically that you're allowed to travel from and to work, to and from work. The attitude of people is generally united, with a few exceptions. We've noticed a huge difference in how people are handling this situation compared to last year. Personally, we've noticed that people are a lot more relaxed this time. There's not that over-imposing level of fear and panic that came around with the first wave of COVID-19 last year. Even though the Delta variant is a lot more contagious and deadly, it just seems pretty more relaxed. And I think that's because it's no longer novel or new. People know what's expected of them, and they just kind of get behind it, and they've got this really good team mentality. I mean, even the government calls us the team of 5 million, which we've seen from overseas, in contrast, looks a lot different. There seems to be people are very divided, and they can even be hostile towards each other.
This morning, face mask controversy after this outburst caught on camera in a Los Angeles grocery store.
So anyone harassing me to wear a mask, you guys are violating federal law.
Now, the recent Delta variant hasn't been experienced in the wider community in New Zealand up until now. It was only recorded in managed isolation facilities, which sounds a lot more ominous and like death campy. They're basically just hotels with a few more security measures. Also, up until now, New Zealand was experiencing the freedom of having a travel bubble with Australia and the Cook Islands in the Pacific, and the Delta variant has been linked to the recent outbreak in New South Wales. This outbreak has pushed the government into ramping up its vaccine rollout, which was originally going to be in stages over months and for age groups. And now it's basically just like, if you're over the age of 12, go get a shot, don't waste time, just go get one. Which is where we're going to be heading right now to go and get our second and final dose of the vaccine.
We saw them all sitting out there and we sort of rushed in.
Yeah, did you? Yeah. Now I want you to just pop your arm down by down.
Awesome, thank you. Shot number 2, done and dusted.
Fantastic.
Quick and painless.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, good. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, that's right. Second shot, fully vaccinated, done and dusted.
Yep.
Booyah. The vaccine that our government uses is the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which requires only 2 doses, and I've seen that in other countries you can get up to 3 or 4 doses of other vaccine types, which is pretty crazy. And at 4 p.m. today, we find out as a nation if we move into level 3 or level 2 lockdown, which will see an ease on restrictions in the public places. Well, that concludes this short update video on the COVID situation here in New Zealand. Hope you found it interesting or at least entertaining. What are the lockdowns like in your country? How are the people handling the situation? Or is your country back to a state of normal? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you thought this video was tight, leave us a like. This ain't no bribe. Please subscribe. And hey, what the hell? Ding that bell. Stay safe out there.